Good morning, kids. Today we're checking out a brand new video from Wow Such Gaming about why we wouldn't survive the Thing invasion. If you don't remember what John Carpenter's The Thing is, oh, you have missed out. It is a great movie with plenty of twists and unknown factors. I recommend it. Anyway, let's hop in. Oh, audio
Abominations
battle.
from space are no stranger to the discussions had on this channel.
There we
Genetic abnormalities and anomalies beyond anything we have experienced. But if there is one thing that
Ooh,
inspired
love.
many scenarios of the games, movies, and TV shows I have covered on the Why You Wouldn't Survive series for the last 6 years, it's the 1982 John Carpenter classic, The Thing. Nothing else to
Told
call
ya,
it
it's a
but
classic.
that. Simple, effective,
God, look
horrific,
at that.
and most of all, deadly. But what if it wasn't just isolated to the frozen tundras of the Antarctic? What if this thing was transported to civilization and accidentally let loose in an environment where it could flourish with its voracious assimilation?
Like
Let's
in the
just say
comics.
things would get out of hand.
It happened in the comics.
The Thing isn't
That
a
made me laugh.
huge franchise, but it has spurred a cult classic, a 2011 prequel, 2002 game, and some comic books to paint a full
there they are.
picture in the reactive blood of the infected on how screwed we all are. Today, we are discussing why you wouldn't survive the Thing invasion. Over one
Oop, hold on, we'll be right back. And we're back.
An alien civilization had supposedly been conducting a survey within our reaches of space. A Sol spacecraft had been traveling near Earth. Its intentions and origins are hypothesized to be an alien race's zoological survey picking up a parasitic life form that quickly overwhelmed them. Whatever the case, the UFO containing it crashed down to Earth in the blistering colds of Antarctica while
Freezing
emitting a
it
distress
solid.
signal. The violent creature attempted to emerge from the wreckage only to have it and the spaceship become completely frozen. Entering a cryogenic state, they both would be submerged in 100 centuries worth of ice buildup. It wasn't until 1982 that a Norwegian expedition crew stumbled into a ravine containing the wreckage
A
of the
Norwegian team and
spacecraft.
one
Nearby,
American.
under a thick sheet of ice, also contained the body of the alien creature. Excited at the prospect of extraterrestrial life, the research team carved out a near coffin-like block of ice surrounding the thought-to-be-dead beast in order to study it at their base at Thule Station. Eager to analyze it, Sander Halverson quickly saw to using a drill to puncture the ice and
damn.
retrieve a sample of the alien's flesh, either by causing fractures in the ice's structural integrity or sparking a reaction in the alien's anatomy from being punctured. The alien would come back to life and burst out from its entombment. Scurrying
yeah. I
away,
guess it was never
it would
figured
find
out.
refuge underneath the base's building as the research team frantically searched for it. Unfortunately for Henrik of the team, he and associate Olav would discover its hiding spot only for the creature to attack. Shooting out a sharp
yeah,
tentacle
just
at an
heels,
incredibly
grab,
fast
and
speed,
pull.
it stabbed Henrik in his chest and reeled him in to consume him whole. The rest of the team would soon arrive and use a flamethrower to kill this creature. The promise of
There it
alien
goes.
life had quickly transitioned from hopeful enthusiasm to a nightmarish chain of events.
Welcome
Conducting
to
an
hell.
autopsy on the foreign specimen, the team discovered the partially digested remains of Henrik. However, this wasn't just a digestive tract to consume human flesh. It was also a veritable reproductive organ as well. This thing was able to assimilate living beings into its own mass in a very rapid amount of time. During the process
Damn.
of this assimilation, will the creature absorb and replicate every part of the organism it consumed, even down to every single cell. By melding the flesh of
Yeah.
others with its own, the Thing is able to do a litany of deceptive, destructive, and potentially world-ending
And
things.
spread.
From its unearthing
Oh,
at
I
Full
guess I talked
Station
over the
to its
joke.
transference via a dog's body to US Outpost 31 to the military excursion of Bravo team to the Antarctic. The Thing killed and assimilated many, but was kept within the confines of the frozen tundra. To avoid just
Thankfully.
recapping the events of the films and video game, we will just get straight to discussing the nature of this why you wouldn't survive scenario. The original form in which we see the creature will never be seen again, and its animalistic behavior of running and hiding when first awoken will probably never be
really am
spectated by
curious about
anyone
its
outside the
original
research
form.
teams. The shape in which it's first shown to those at Thule Station was that of multiple alien organisms it had absorbed eons ago, not truly having a form we can pinpoint or illustrate, as this being is more than likely a colonial organism composed of individually reactive and living cells.
Yeah, I
Born
guess
of
that would
single
make
cells
sense.
that reproduce exponentially, it has no conventional anatomy and will simply seek to consume and imitate whatever living thing that it detects. Say, for sake of argument,
consume
another
and
alien thing
copy.
hybrid was unearthed. Those that discover it would most likely be attacked and either heavily injured
Oh,
or
God.
swallowed whole. The origin beast would probably be killed quickly after its first few dozen victims. Those that it injures, though, in any capacity will have its cells intravenously invade their body through a scratch, puncture, or more to become infected. Each
Even
cell
just
of an
as simply as
individual
it
will be
touching you.
rapidly attacked, consumed, and then replaced. Every single cell of the body. Meaning, in just a short amount of time, those infected by it will slowly have their flesh and mind completely replaced by the amorphous body snatcher. Every
Oh.
defect, abnormality, health risk, bone structure, vocal pattern, mannerism, intelligence, and even memory of a person or animal will be perfectly replicated to serve the beast in its pursuit to devour. In its beginning stages, when its true nature is still undiscerned, it will seek to incubate in other life forms, ravenously attacking anything that
Oh,
sees
God,
its
there it goes.
monstrous first configuration or that lies within its path. Anything injured by it will be a ticking time bomb of a sleeper cell that eventually will become a thing. Anyone could
Yep.
become a thing without displaying any outward symptoms. They will not know they are infected and they will not feel it.
All
Every
it takes
molecule
is
is
one.
unknowingly replaced without anyone's knowledge. Not even the victims, as they most likely will have their consciousness then rapidly replaced
Oh,
in
God, that
hours
looks painful.
or even minutes. The thing will infect as much as it can off the radar, choosing to place itself in smaller, more unsuspecting life forms like dogs, cats, or more. That way, in case more detectable, complicated, and communicative entities like people that get involved and killed in more chaotic situations won't be the only fragments of the thing out there so that it can spread. Think of it like a backup measure, a failsafe for
I
this
can see that.
organism. All it takes is one organic being harboring its replicative cells for it to cause an outbreak. Not that the thing is some sort of tactical collective consciousness scheming every
Not at
cell
all.
in existence for a grand takeover, mind you. While the cells acting within the body are somewhat of a hive mind intelligence in their own regard, only those within one biological mass formed together will communicate with one another. Separate organisms of the thing do not share any kind of communication or telepathic mindset, simply all acting as individuals when they're separated, serving their primary goal of infection and or assimilation through
One
any
goal.
means. The thing will
Bread.
seek out only particular portions of biological matter, mind you. They can only assimilate with living or freshly dead bodies. Theories as to why
Oh,
prolonged
God, that still
inanimate
looks
corpses
painful.
are omitted by the fusion process range from simply the cells being unable to be carried by an inactive bloodstream through the body, that, or the consciousness of the thing acknowledges that a noticeably dead body or known to be dead person being reanimated could blow the thing's cover as it attempts to blend in and pretend to be humans or animals. Regardless, it will also only be able to fuse with organic material. Any artificial constructs like steel plates, hinges, fake limbs, piercings, or tooth fillings in a body will be spat out, exposing a thing entity for being what it truly is, giving only one of a few ways to distinguish if someone is or isn't a thing, via
Very
lacking
good, very
prior
good.
in organic material. Or you can set fire to parts of the body, even blood, to where extreme
Damn.
reactions are noted. As stated before, every organic molecule of a host body will be infected and become a living separate entity.
Again, I do recommend checking out the original movie. The prequel isn't too bad, but no one really recommends it. I mean, you can watch it, but
entity
don't enjoy
of
it.
the thing. Limbs, body parts, heads can all exist as separate living creatures. Even pools of blood extracted from thing organisms can spring to life if threatened or are given reason to believe they can successfully attack an individual. Once incapacitated, the thing can see to homogenizing a body either by eating you with a gaping maw, infecting you for a slow procession, or probably the worst fate of all, instant flesh fusion.
Yeah.
If given an ample
fusion.
opportunity, the flesh of a thing-infected organism can also act as a way of painful assimilation. Simply touching and rubbing up against a non-infected organism can have the thing's individually active cells attacking the cells of someone else by the millions and instantly begin to melt and fuse their skin and body to its own,
I bet it's
mutating and
painful.
melding the body. This acts as the most rapid way of assimilating someone else without any added steps of injury or infection. The flesh that it does assimilate will all become a single, malleable, and reactive biomass that can be shaped into just about anything. Each part is able to have superhuman strength, deadly sharpened appendages, insane speed/dexterity, and create limbs and orifices that allow it to easily eat, rip, tear, or bite off parts of others. It shows a heavy resilience to gunfire, blunt force trauma, and more. Now, if the body is torn, ripped, or sliced apart, or even if it is pinned down, the body parts of the thing beast can separate and act as separate living entities with hindered intelligence, only being able to be killed by fire.
Really should've
Basically,
just ripped that
turning
thing off.
any and every part of its connected flesh into anything it could conceive from the knowledge it had accumulated from victims prior, terrestrial or extraterrestrial. The larger
Whoa.
a singular entity of a thing gets, the more intelligent it will become. The more consciousness and memories it incorporates, the more it will be able to draw from and utilize its horrific endeavors. It will
smaller it
be
gets.
less reliant on pure animalistic instinct and instead calculate the best moments to either strike unsuspecting prey or how to maximize its outreach and infection, consumption, and slaughter. Every intelligent
Oop, that was an ad. We'll be right back. And we're back.
orbs will also have its knowledge retained between every new individual form it creates,
Oh,
even
damn
from
it,
its
that was a
unknown
dark scene.
origins from amongst the stars, allowing it to have the skills and know-how to do whatever each person and life form before it was able to do. This is shown by the fact that the Blair thing, who had assimilated biologist Blair, station commander MT Gary, and possibly Knowles, had set out to reconstruct
Yeah,
a
possibly.
smaller version of the UFO
Never known.
the original thing had crashed to Earth in 100,000 years ago. Using parts from the wreckage of a destroyed helicopter and other pieces nearby, this had shown the thing was able to use the intellect of the many intuitive and smart people within its biomass to construct something so intricate and complex, displaying that it retains the intelligence of the alien species it assimilated with so long ago and still perfectly articulate how to reconstruct a spacefaring vehicle just from human-made air vehicle parts. The amount of possibilities that a
Really
thing
cool.
that has absorbed many others could be capable of creating is catastrophic, possibly able to make alien weaponry and constructs beyond our understanding. As stated before, anyone it assimilates, the thing will be able to imitate in every single regard. Aside from artificial parts, every defect, abnormality,
metal.
health problem, bone structure, vocal pattern, mannerism, intelligence, and even memory will be carbon copied. A person that becomes a thing will act exactly as they did before losing their life. Nobody
Yeah.
will even know they are a thing. Even the thing infected, it will all be undetectable without proper testing. Computations even state within the Antarctic compounds that just from a few hours after the original thing began its sporadic attacks, that the probability of any and every person at the base being infected was a staggeringly high 75% chance. The only way to stop it is destroying anything and anyone it possibly interacted with. Anything that the thing makes a part of it will become whole, and the only way of killing it is to either burn it, blow it up, and or submerge it in acid to destroy cells down to the molecular level. But attempting
Everything
to do
has
so
to
will
go.
only have the thing retaliate with deadly force when it's almost found out, eventually killing and assimilating everyone and fleeing to where it can eat to its heart's, or lack of hearts, or many hearts' content. Due to the
Always
rapidly
hard to tell when
destructive
it comes to
nature
that.
of the thing, it would have to be instantly quarantined and eradicated, or else its inevitable outreach would be unstoppable. The premise of it being stuck within Antarctica makes sense to prevent its outbreak, but it's possible it could make a ship or hijack a helicopter or boat to get away. It's also possible powerful minds around the world could catch wind of this being's potential, either captured by
True.
military or governmental entities in order to repurpose it as a means of biological warfare. However, they would
Okay, now
simply
hold on. If you want to try to turn that thing into a weapon, you're gonna die. 'Cause
underestimate the
it's a
thing
beast.
and how intelligent and voracious it is, especially with how it keeps its full capabilities to itself in the beginning. From there, it would quickly break out of any confinement and absorb all military, governmental, and scientific personnel there, allowing the thing to now have access to knowledge that could easily make it the smartest creature on the planet, with strategies to allow it to take victory in any scenario, while also being able to use the personas of our leaders to distract, deflect, and lull the world population into a false sense of security. All this to allow it to spread and have the majority percentage amongst the human population so that it cannot be defeated no matter how hard we tried, even if it isn't given such.
Well, in the original movie, it said it would take like 27,000 hours to actually get it to conquer the world.
A good
How
early
many
game
days is
start,
that?
the fact that only one thing being able to mutate, infect, and imitate others without any suspicion in its beginnings would mean it could easily get out of confinement or escape to high population areas and secretly infect people as it makes its travels. The whole reason it was able to
Oh, God,
spread
imagine
in the
it in the
1982
food
movie
industry.
was from its dormancy within the dog that reached the American outpost. They brought in the dog not suspecting anything of its true potential. Any rat, insect, or small creature, or any kind of animal that humans befriend or draw close to, or just in our environment without us noticing, would easily mean them biting and assimilating us. Hordes of rats, insects, animals, just about anything just being things
Oh,
that can
damn, zombie
easily
tiger.
sneak in and bite us and transform to fuse with us. Infected people could fly under the radar. It would be an invasion of the body snatchers scenario where just any person walking around could be a thing that could mutate in a second, simply pricking people with maybe a mutated finger or bringing unsuspecting victims into a closed area to devour or fuse with them. The rate at which just one thing
That guy was
being able to
infected.
transform others around the
Something.
world is the true reasoning behind this why you wouldn't survive scenario. Anything that breathes can be a thing. A thing! As shown in the computed projections by Dr. Blair, a single thing reaching civilized society would veritably lead to the extinction of mankind. The entire world population would become infected and assimilated within 27,000 hours from first contact. Simply in the span of a little over 3 years, will every single
3
man,
years?
woman,
That's how
child,
long.
animal, and more become either a sleeper cell body snatcher seeking out the uninfected to consume them, or a hideous Cronenberg abomination of countless
Oh,
living
damn.
beings. Every living thing on Earth will be prey to the beast. Every single thing that breathes, thinks, or strives to survive can be eaten and or turned and made part of the thing. Anything around you could be a thing just
I wonder if
pretending
you can
to
actually
be
do that
the
with
living creature it
insects.
had killed moments or ages ago. Anything could instantly transform into a hellish monster preparing to rip your flesh and infect you. There would absolutely be no cure for a sentient cellular species that rapidly destroys and replaces every single cell in your body. Think of it like a super cancer that spreads like wildfire, which, ironically, the real only way of destroying anything that becomes a thing is wildfire.
fire.
You would have to
It
absolutely
must
nuke
burn.
or napalm areas that even have one cell of the thing's DNA detected. you would have to just destroy so much just to prevent its spread. The psychological effects of knowing any person could be an infected thing would have every single person on Earth paranoid to debilitative degrees, constantly ready to kill each other or imprison one another. Tests, of course, would become swiftly mandatory in towns, camps, and compounds to look for artificial parts of a body via metal detectors, x-rays, and general body inspections. That or taking blood samples to burn the blood for signs of infection. But due to the rising intelligence and rapid infection rate of the thing, countermeasures and sabotage would easily be discerned by the thing to make sure they are never found out. That, or just becoming so quick and overwhelming that these tests could not even be made. Even those conducting the tests could easily be infected to allow other infected to infiltrate compounds. Someone that is infected that engages in these tests could simply say that no one's infected. They could fake the results of these studies. The thing could also make spacecraft to travel to vast parts of the world in a matter of moments so that they can infect others in a very rapid rate and start a worldwide pandemic from key points across the globe. Remember, they have our intelligence and our knowledge, so they can know about high population metroplexes and more and where to go. It is also possible the thing could also make devices that could spread their cellular life forms via water supplies, food supplies, and even make the cells airborne, where simply breathing in these cells would mean your slow infection. Everything from our water to our food to our air could mean you turning into a thing without you even knowing. If a thing is backed into a corner and found out, or given enough opposition, there's no telling what or when each person can suddenly mutate into or call for help from. One person that had been a thing suddenly morphed into a huge gelatinous blob, unable to be harmed by gunfire or blunt force, mutating itself to easily chop up survivors, eat them alive, and shoot sharpened tentacles through their chest. With enough biomass, it could easily become something like the Blob, where it becomes massive enough to where it could easily absorb anything nearby to instantly consume them, or becoming a hulking massive growth capable of massive destruction like the Necromorph's Hive Mind beast, to where even our most destructive weapons like tanks, jets, and more would be easily destroyed. We have no idea what the potential of fusing with hundreds or even thousands of people would do, considering the most we see the amalgamations fuse with are upwards of only about 3 people. With creatures like the Two-Face thing, it's safe to say that an immeasurable number of organics could be fused together to make one gigantic thing. All their biomass, thoughts, and more serving this Adonis of an abomination. The entire world being assimilated. Every living thing leading to tightening reduced numbers of humans, all being infected via exposure to assimilated friends, family members, and eventually food, water, and air. Over time, the scattered remnants of humanity only having enclaves fighting with suspicion amongst themselves in sealed bunkers with shrinking rations, surrounded by an ever-growing biomass only ever known as the Thing. It will all eventually lead to the conclusion of the era of humanity. The only way of not being forcefully inducted into this biomass and having your thoughts, memories, and face repurposed for its own devices is to just die before it gets the chance to consume you. Within just a little over 3 years, everything.
I think the guy actually did that in the prequel. Like, he was infected, he could tell he was infected, so he just straight up bombed himself before he could get more infected.
Will become a part of the Thing. That about assimilates up this why you wouldn't survive scenario enveloping the Thing's universe. Do you really consider yourself someone that can go toe-to-toe with this kind of creature and make it out alive? Because honestly, you're more than likely just going to fuse toe-to-toe with it instead. Big thanks to you for watching today's video, and if you would like, feel free to donate. These fine people on this list here donated just $1.
Well, folks, that's going to be all for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Link to the original will be in the description below, and I'll see you folks next time when we flick on. Peace out.